Hey guys, Coach Keto here from Icons Rugby. How's it going? This one's a bit of a tough one for me because I've had this conversation a lot. Like, I meet a lot of guys over here in Russia, and I speak to a lot of people on Messenger and stuff back home. And I get asked a lot. Like, people go, "Oh, you're living the dream. You're living the dream. You're doing this. You're doing that." And it's tough, man, because then they instantly realize that I miss out on everything back home. Everything's missed out. Yeah, I get videos and photos, and it's amazing what I get of my kids and stuff like that, but I'm not there for the interactions, and it's tough. And you see this around coaches and FIFO workers and everyone who go away, and it's a huge sacrifice you make. And the hardest thing is that how do you put a dollar value on time and experience when that's what everyone focuses on? And for me, it's got nothing to do with the dollar value. Like, I have to earn a certain amount of money to be away for it to be feasible. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not away because it's for the money. It's interesting. I made a decision, probably 8-9 years ago, that I was going to break the mold. And what I mean by that is that I wanted to break the mold of how I grew up thinking. Nothing wrong with my situation, single mom, whatever. I'm not here to blow excuses, but the thinking was so different. There was a thinking that basically you were just there to survive, do your best, do this, do that. Like, and it's great, but it's not enough in the modern context. It's really not. Like, your best is 100% influenced by your thinking. When I was growing up, I thought, okay, I'll just be this. Now, a little bit more experiences, a little bit this, a little bit that. I've traveled the world, earned shitloads of money, and fucking done everything I can so far. And, I'm 32. So what does that mean for the next 30 years? What can I actually achieve? And that's all limited by, if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have been saying, oh, I hope I can do this, not an actual strategic plan on how. And it really got me thinking when people ask me this about, being away and sacrifices and all this. And it comes down to one thing. Like, everyone talks about what's your why? And people talk my family, my kids, my this, my that. And you know what? I get it, man, because my why is my kids too, but it's not that. It's not just that. I don't do it just for my kids. I do it to change their thinking so that they can have a better platform to springboard off in their later on years in life. Do you understand that? It's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm trying to give them, better financial situation, or give them a better this situation, or provide more for them. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with, at some point, they're going to step out on their own, and the foundation that I've created, they'll be able to springboard off, or they're going to fall off. Now, for me, what I learned is that the way you think can massively affect that. So if I can change the way that they think about problems, the way they think about solutions, the way they do everything, and if they realize that sacrifice for a purpose is the number one fuel to any fire, then I've done my job. It might have cost a shitload. The price I pay is huge. But then the rewards we're going to get are extremely huge. Because let's put it this way, guys. If I was at home, sitting at home working and just being there, I'd be on a 9 to 5, sitting in a factory, basically getting home at night, sitting in front of the TV, talking about shows, sitting there trying to tell my kids, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, trying to control their upbringing in a way that they're going to go, okay, dad's a hard ass, instead of providing learning opportunities and being able to give them a better view on life so that they can learn those lessons and go, you know what, I don't actually want to do that. I don't want to be like that. And I'm extremely blessed because the day in, day out contact done by my partner is huge and phenomenal. But it comes from, we together have decided to do this. We together have thought, okay, we need something bigger. We want to break the mold. Now, we can't just go, money's not going to be the one that does it. Money's not going to be the thing that shatters it. Yeah, it's nice and it helps and everything like that, but it's not the one thing. The one thing is that if our kids can learn respect, can learn gratitude, can learn about loyalty, can learn about trust, can learn about hard work is a measure of yourself, not from someone else, and that your ability to appreciate others for the effort they give, not the effort you require, is amazing, then how good is that? You know, and I'm not saying that my kids are perfect or anything like that. No way in hell would I ever say anything like that. But I know that my upbringing, and I've seen it so many times because this is who I deal with. I deal with males between the ages of 15 and 25. They are influenced by what they did between 10 and 15. And so many of them don't know how to change because their environments don't change. Their situations don't change. And the number one thing I ever got from my mum going hard and doing everything she did was she sacrificed to create a better circumstance. Now, I just took that same method and went, well, hey, I don't want a better circumstance. I want a better platform. I want a better foundation. You know, I want the future generation to grow up and 10x what I've done. You know, so for me, how high I can build is a platform of how high they can build. You know, it's got nothing to do with what I can achieve and everything to do with what I can create for others to achieve. And it's really, really interesting because that there alone, that thought process, completely changes the way that you focus on things, completely changes how you make decisions, completely changes when you're sitting there and going, well, I've got this huge decision to make, so what do I do? Do I do this or do I do that? Well, if you just think about what's the reasoning behind you actually doing things, what's the real reason? Not just, oh, my kids. What do you want to do for your kids? Oh, I want to get my mum a home. Okay, well, what it is exactly that looks like? How are you going to do that? You know, and then all of a sudden your decisions become really, really clear and simple because it's like, okay, well, this is where we need to go. This is what we need to do. So this decision goes there or that decision goes there. Which one do we choose? Well, let's choose B because B goes there better than A. And it's really simple. But the thing is, for me, is I can say it's simple now, but ask me 6-7 years ago and I was said, man, this is the craziest thing in the world. Because it is the craziest thing, because you don't know what you don't know. So, you know, it's one of those things there that if there's anything I can give to the next generation, it is the simple fact of go extremely hard and don't be safe. Because everything I've seen around safe decisions, and I don't mean this as like jumping off a building and shit, don't fucking get me wrong, guys. I mean safe as in, if you've got an educated risk to invest into something, to do a decision, to make something or go somewhere, do it. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to realize, holy crap, that's not for me, and bail. You know, the best thing that's going to happen is you're going to completely change your life. Now, that there is the number one thing. Is, you know, I see so many guys who sit in situations and sit in ruts because they don't have a reason behind them moving that's big enough for them to move. All right? The pain is not big enough because we justify everything. We try and cuddle everything, and it shouldn't be like that. All right? We should be teaching our youth to go, you know what? Take that chance. You know, acknowledge that failure. Fail, man. Jump off. Jump. Go. Who cares if you don't make it? The only people who care about the 15-year-old superstar is the 15-year-old superstar. You know, I can give you 1,000 stories of the 15-year-old superstar who at 18 is mowing lawns. So it's just that thing, guys. Everything can change, and I can give you 1,000 stories of the guy who was a nothing and at 23 is now a professional footy player. Like, you've got to know what you're sacrificing is worth it in the long run because you've got to go deep. You've got to go deep. All right? And I have this little thing that we use, guys. It's a real kind of good technique. It's called the 7 whys. Right? So anything you want to do, let's say, all right, I want to do this for my kids. Why? Well, I want to do that for my kids. Why? Put 7 whys down and write the why to each answer that you give. By the time you've given the 7th answer, you'll actually know exactly it is what you want and exactly it is what you want to provide. And from there, you can platform into huge achievement and huge creation and huge development. All right, guys, so that's me. It's Coach Curto from Icons Rugby. This was a little bit different because this was about sacrifice and not so much rugby, but just about, you know, your mindset around it and what you've really got to do. All right, guys, so it's me, Coach Curto, Icons Rugby. Peace. I'm out.